Hello and welcome back for upload number 3, episode number 1 of This Dude Actually Got a Fucking Haircut. I actually don't look like I'm a barbarian anymore and it actually feels great. So today's upload is more about why I decided to become an actor rather than the actual work of an actor itself. I feel like there's a lot of people in the world that, they have this dream that they want to pursue. And a lot of times they don't because it's too difficult, there's a lot of competition, and they feel like, you know what, it's probably a smarter idea to do something more financially stable. And I completely understand that, Some people really just keep their artistic side of themselves more as a hobby, more than they do as a career. You see a lot of people that are very good with stencils and they're really they know how to make very, very beautiful art. Like they can sketch something beautifully, but they're working as like an accountant or, as an engineer and all these things that promise good money. And that's all good and well. Personally, me, it didn't feel right. I can chalk it up to 3 instances that I said to myself after these 3 instances, this is what I want to do with the rest of my life. I don't want to do anything else. I see no crazy joy in anything else. Only acting. Only, putting on a show in front of a stage, on a stage in front of an audience, or in front of a camera on a big screen for everyone. So yeah, I'm just going to talk about those points. Really, these were points that not necessarily changed my life, but changed my perspective on what I wanted to do. First instance, and I'm going to go in order of how they happened. I was in the 1st grade. I was 7 years old, and my stepdad said to me, hey, do you want to go watch a movie in a movie theater? Now, I've never watched a movie in theaters before. I've only watched movies that were put on TV, and that has like a different formatting because it has to fit a TV screen. I've only seen movies at school when they put the DVR or VCR, whichever R it is, the cassette tape into the TV, and then you're watching Land Before Time, Lion King, all those shits. So it was never really something that I ever did, and I was like, yeah, sure, why not? And the movie we decided to watch was Spider-Man 3. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh wow, Spider-Man 3 changed this dude's life. What a fucking great, fantastic movie to watch for your first, your first cinema experience, and something that ended up making you want to become an actor, right? But here's the thing, right? I was a very impressionable child still. I was 7, right? Let me tell you, Spider-Man kicked ass in that movie, bro. Like, that was the movie where he faced off against Venom and Sandman. Literally 1v1 them until New Goblin came in and committed suicide to help him out. But Spider-Man did most of the heavy lifting without the black suited costume. Let me not get into a tangent about Spider-Man. I go to the movie theater. We buy the tickets. We go and we watch the movie. And like I said, I've never been in a movie theater. This was a really interesting experience. And I'm not one to brush off something I haven't done. It sounded cool, so now I'm here, sitting down. I'm watching, and I did not expect it to be so loud. At first, it was a little overwhelming, but after just watching, and everything's so heightened. The screen is so big, the effects, the slow motion, whatever's happening, it was so surreal. And obviously these are superheroes. Obviously they don't exist unless you're The Rock. That man is a superhuman. But it was so surreal. Just all I saw in front of me was screen. I couldn't look away. I was so attached to it. All the effects, the acting, the stakes, everything. I was just engulfed, and I remember this movie's amazing. Spider-Man 3, of all the Spider-Mans, was probably one of the weaker ones, but I've never seen any of the Spider-Men in theaters. Just watching this as a kid, I was like, this is incredible. And then after I got out, I was like, okay, yeah, that's fake, but damn, that must be fun to make. And then that's when I really got my interest for acting. It's like, damn, these people really put on movies to do that, So yeah, that completely got my attention. And then, it turns out that it was really important because it made me want to perform later. So yeah, that was instance number one. It's just, I was a captivated audience, and that's what you gotta do. You gotta captivate an audience, and the second you do that, you're golden. Instance number two was the first show I ever did. The first theater show I ever did. No, second theater show I ever did. My 8th grade year. I was already a part of Alice in Wonderland the year before. I just played one of the cards, and if anyone knows the cards, they get a scene to themselves. They're never seen again. So it was a fun little thing. I did it. I was like, oh wow, this is actually, this is actually really cool to do, like pretty fun. Like, it was really cool. Like, it questioned my, it answered my question of, is acting fun? Yeah, I actually had a lot of fun working on that role. The next year, my teacher goes up to me and she goes, hey, this show that we're doing, most likely you're going to be the lead. And she saw that I was really interested in acting, so she really just wanted to bring it out of me, like bring out that joy. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. I definitely want to do this. Like, I feel like that's where the fun is, right? The leads, like, the more you're on stage, the more fun you're going to have. So we're now in the rehearsal process, and then my teacher goes, hey, just so you know, he's pretty good. You gotta, stay on your toes. Like, if I feel like he's right for the part, he might take it. And bro, she played me like a fiddle because she tapped into my competitiveness. And now this got even more fun for me. I really started to care about this character immensely. Like, it mattered to me so much. And I was having even more fun during the whole rehearsal process. Everything, every last aspect of what I was doing was so fun. I loved every last ounce of it. But the thing that changed my life, or changed my perspective, was the after school show we did for a paying audience, where they would charge, like, I think parents $5 and their kids like $2 to watch the show at 7 or something. Little did I expect that we would have a packed house. We did the show. I was nervous beforehand. I got up on that stage, felt natural, I felt great, and I did the whole thing. And at the end of the show, we all have our curtain call. Now, just in case anyone doesn't know what a curtain call is, it's basically in order of role significance. So if you are part of the extras, you come out first, you take your bow, walk off. Ensemble, which is kind of like the choir singers and the people that are choreographed to, in a musical, when you're choreographed to sing along with everyone and just make it like a really, like, make the whole thing pop, they're next. And then the supporting roles, and then the lead roles. And if there is one specific lead, the lead by himself takes a bow in front of everyone. And that was actually me during this play. So I was hearing everyone's applause, and I was like, man, this is so cool. Now we actually get to, like, as humble as we're supposed to be, we actually just go out for praise. Like, this is actually really cool. And everyone was getting like this loud applause. It was so awesome. And at those moments, you forget, well, I forgot, I was the lead of the show. People saw my face more than anyone there. And I come out for my bow. And if I can find a video, I'll put it in. But, man, just, there's a moment where I bowed. The roar of the people, I took a step back. The one thing I was not expecting as an 8th grader was to get a screaming audience, a standing ovation, and I'm the only one on the stage. And like that, like the amount of overwhelming emotion, I didn't cry or anything. I had no like tears, but just the amount of, like, the overwhelming feeling I had of, this is amazing. Like, this, oh my God, this is the greatest reward ever. Like, there's, like, to this day, I still think it's money, standing ovation. Like, there is no other feeling of feeling gratitude and feeling, like, appreciated than when an audience erupts and just starts screaming how great you did You know, they're just on their feet. Like no one is sitting down. They're all giving you all their support. And yeah, man, it felt so great. I loved every last bit of it. And that's when I said, no, when I go to high school, I gotta still do acting. You know, this isn't something that dies 8th grade. I enjoy this too much to let it go. And yeah, man, that was the second experience. Just the the whole ordeal of it just felt so great. Now the third thing. The third thing isn't really just something that I do as an actor. It's the domino effect, I guess, of being an actor. It's what you do and how it affects other people. So I am 20 years old right now. I am about 2 years removed. It's June, right? Yeah, I'm 2 years removed from high school. And during high school, I was actually a part of a theater program. It was a part of my GPA. I did a show with them. They helped me get into my off-Broadway performance, and that's maybe a video for another day. And it was just like a really great experience because they teach you how to act, they teach you how to write, they teach you how to direct, and really they just hone your skills as, a theater person. And that's where I got all my training, and that's when I fully utilized and realized my talent. So I feel so appreciative and grateful for that program that whenever possible, I want to give back to them. And every year they have this little open house, I guess, where they invite 8th graders to the high school and they talk to the 8th graders about this program and why they should apply for it, why, like how it would benefit them. And to be honest, theater can benefit you in a lot of ways. I had a friend that was a complete introvert, and there's nothing wrong with being an introvert, but she would not talk to anybody. She was too closed in, and that was her freshman year. Her senior year, she was just as talkative as I was. She was like a part of us. She was like a sister to me, like to this day. Anissa, if you ever watch this video, bro, I freaking love you to death, man, or girl, whatever. So yeah, it was such an amazing experience, and to talk to these 8th graders as a high school student, they're gonna listen to you because they're like, okay, this is gonna be me in a year. I want to know what they have to say about high school. I'm now in college, or I was in college at the time. I'm now in college. If any opinion's gonna matter, it's not that they don't matter, but if anyone should really pay attention, it's like, oh, so this guy made it through all 4 years. He knows exactly what we're about to go through, and this program is now preparing him for the next step. So my teacher asked me, he's like, hey, if you want, you can be a part of it as an alumni this year, and you can talk to the kids. And I'm like, yeah, absolutely, man. I've always wanted to be a mentor to somebody, and I've always wanted to be an inspiration to others. I think one of the most important aspects of me acting is that I inspire people. And I've always wanted to be a leader. I've always had that yearning in me. So I felt like this was an opportunity to really expand on that, so I took it. And we're talking to the 8th graders the day of, and he goes, hey, do you want to perform your monologues for them? And I'm like, yeah, for sure. And I perform one of the comedic monologue the high school program gave me. And it's the same monologue that they are going to give to these kids as an option once they get into the program. So they all had a copy of the monologue on hand. And some kids were watching me as I performed it and being like, oh, wow, he actually has this word for word. Other kids were like laughing because I actually have worked on this comedic monologue forever. I won't do it now because it's for someone much younger. Like, it's more for like a young teenager, not for a 20-year-old. It's really creepy if it comes out of a 20-year-old. But they were loving it, and it was like such a cool moment. All the kids were just laughing, and like they just loved it. And then he was like, "You want to do another one?" And I was like, "Well, let's have the people in the program do some monologues first." He's like, "Yeah, I'll get you later." And then he asked the kids, like, hey, do you want to see him do another monologue? And it was like, yeah. Which I love that. Like, it was really cool to see, like, kids just want to see me act. Like, I don't know, that's really cool to me. So I go and I start to perform the second monologue, and everyone's like, whoa. Because it's the monologue I did in the last upload. And everyone's like, whoa, that's heavy. And, like, everyone was like, you know, put a little damper on things. Like, man, that's like, it really resonated with everyone. And it's not a monologue for people their age, but it was one of my better takes of the monologue, and they really enjoyed it, and people were like so amazed. So we go on with the rest of the itinerary for that day, just trying to impress them and try to get them to join. And so afterwards, my teacher asks anyone if they want to do like a mock audition for the program. Does anyone want to, you know, get up on stage? We didn't have a stage, it was like a classroom. It was like, does anyone want to go in front of the classroom and take a monologue, read it, and try to act it out, just to do it for fun, just to see what it's like? And everyone was like, all those 8th graders were shy. None of them knew what theater was, so they were just like, no. Like, they all sat back. This one kid gets up and he goes up to the middle. He's like, I'll do it. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, you know, finally someone was cool enough to do it. And he takes the paper and he's about to start reading, and then he goes, hey, I just want to, you know, say something. Honestly, I had no intention of auditioning for this program. I had no intention of paying attention to this whole thing that was going on. I wanted just to take this field trip to get a day out of school. And immediately I'm thinking like, wow, that is bold to say with your guidance counselor right there. And he's like, yeah, I had no intention of doing any of this. And then he looks at me and he goes, but after seeing how much fun he had with it, after seeing like how passionate he was about this, I had to try it. And hearing that, I was in the middle of eating a Big Mac, and I hear this and I'm just like, whoa. Like, it's such a it's a moment that really like makes you just think about everything you've ever done, and it's like, whoa, I'm this kid's inspiration now. And, you know, yeah, he finishes it by saying, you know, so yeah, maybe this is fun. And, you know, if I do this and I have fun and I figure out that this is something that I want to do, I want to thank you. And bro, I was at a loss for words. I couldn't even say anything to him at that moment. Like, I just did this because, again, I didn't know what else to say. He performs the monologue. He's not bad. He actually wasn't bad. He was having a little fun with it. And then as soon as he's done, I just run up to him and I just go, hey, man, I appreciate that. I appreciate everything you said. It, you know, something like that coming from someone who, you know, you don't know me. And for you to say that and, you know, have the guts to say that to me in front of everyone, you know, it really means a lot. And I dapped them up and they all had to go back. And I was just sitting down at this desk. My old teacher goes, was like, you good? I was like, like, that's my only reaction to it. He's like, hey man, why else do we do this? And that's what opened my eyes. I'm like, yeah, no, why else do we do this? You know, other than it being fun, why am I doing this? If there should always be more than one reason as to why you always pick a career and why you're so happy with that career. Me, it was a way out. You know, I didn't have to do a 9 to 5 that I felt like I would have been miserable with. I could have had fun. I could have made good money. And now I'm realizing I could be the person that inspires the next big thing and inspires someone to do something. And that to me is I'm just an ordinary person. And to think that I can have an impact on someone, have an impact on an 8th grader, it's insane to me. And yeah, like, that's at that moment I realized, like, this is it. This is what I have to do. Acting is an extremely competitive field. There are a million actors out there. You're way more versatile if you can sing. So I have to be a better overall actor because there are performers that are better than me. But this is what I want to do, and this is what I have to do, I feel. Just the impact that I could have. Just, you know, there's so many things that it checks off that makes me extremely happy to do what I do. So, yeah, that was number 3. It's not only fun, it doesn't only pay, you can have an impact on someone's life. And that to me is probably one of the more important things that, you know, someday I can reflect back on my career and go, I'm glad I inspired some kind of change on this world. That's it for this video, man. I do what I do, not only for me, but for many other reasons. And as great as it is, it can be humbling at times. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for another upload this week. Let's hope. This video is already out late. I was supposed to have it out on Monday. But yeah, that is the video. I will be here for the next one. Will you? We'll see.